Good morning, everyone. This is the Bible reading for section 2, lesson 2. Today we're reading Genesis 26 through 29 and Psalm 8. So this is Genesis 26. Isaac settles near Gerar. Now there was a famine in the land of Canaan besides the previous famine that had occurred in the days of Abraham. So Isaac went to Gerar to Abimelech, king of the Philistines. The Lord appeared to him and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Stay in the land of which I tell you. Live temporarily as a resident in this land, and I will be with you, and I will bless you and favor you. For I will give all these lands to you and your descendants, and I will establish and carry out the oath which I swore to Abraham your father. I will make your descendants multiply as the stars of the heavens, and I will give your descendants all these lands, and by your descendants shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because Abraham listened to and obeyed my voice, and consistently kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws." So Isaac stayed in Gerar. The men of the place asked him about his wife, and he said, "She is my sister." For he was afraid to say my wife, thinking the men of the place might kill me on account of Rebekah, since she is very beautiful. It happened that when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out of a window and saw Isaac caressing Rebekah, his wife. Then Abimelech called Isaac and said, "See here, Rebekah is in fact your wife. How did you dare to say to me, 'She is my sister'?" And Isaac said to him, "Because I thought I might be killed because of her desirability." Abimelech said, "What is this that you have done to us? One of the men among our people might easily have been intimate with your wife, and you would have been brought guilt on us before God." Then Abimelech commanded all of his people, "Whoever touches this man Isaac or his wife Rebekah shall without exception be put to death." Then Isaac planted seed in the land as a farmer, and reaped in the same year 100 times as much as he had planted, and the Lord blessed and favored him. And the man Isaac became great and gained more and more until he became very wealthy and extremely distinguished. He owned flocks and herds and a great household with a number of servants, and the Philistines envied him. Now all of the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines stopped up by filling them with dirt. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from here, because you are far too powerful for us." So Isaac left the region and camped in the valley of Gerar and settled there. Quarrel over wells. Now Isaac again dug and reopened the wells of water which had been dug in the days of Abraham his father, because the Philistines had filled them up with dirt after the death of Abraham. And he gave the wells the same names that his father had given them. But when Isaac's servants dug in the valley and found there was a well of flowing spring water, the herdsmen of Gerar quarreled with Isaac's herdmen, saying, "The water is ours." So Isaac named the well Isaac, quarreling, because they quarreled with him. Then his servants dug another well, and they quarreled over that also. So Isaac named it Sitnah, enmity. He moved away from there and dug another well, and they did not quarrel over that one. So he named it Rehoboth, broad places, saying, "For now the Lord has made room for us, and we shall be prosperous in the land." Then he went up from there to Beersheba. The Lord appeared to him the same night and said, "I am the God of Abraham your father. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless and favor you and multiply your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham." So Isaac built an altar there and called on the name of the Lord in prayer. He pitched his tent there, and there Isaac's servants dug a well. Covenant with Abimelech. Then Abimelech came to him from Gerar with Ahazuthath, his close friend and confidential advisor, and Philcol, the commander of his army. Isaac said to them, "Why have you people come to me? Since you hate me, have sent me away from you." They said, "We see clearly that the Lord has been with you." So we said, "There should now be an oath between us, with a curse for the one who breaks it, that is, between you and us. And let us make a covenant, binding agreement, solemn promise with you, that you will not harm us, just as we have not touched you and have done nothing but good to you, and have sent you away in peace. You are now the blessed and favored of the Lord." Then Isaac held a formal banquet, covenant feast for them, and they ate and drank. They got up early in the morning and swore oaths, pledging to do nothing but good to each other. And Isaac sent them on their way and left him in peace. And they left him in peace. Now on the same day Isaac's servants came and told him about the well they had dug, saying, we have found water." So he named the well Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, the daughter of Berai the Hittite, and Basmath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, as his wives, and they were a source of grief to Esau's parents, Isaac and Rebekah. Genesis 27. Now when Isaac was old and his eyes were too dim to see, he called his elder and favorite son Esau and said to him, "My son." And Esau answered him, "Here I am." Isaac said, "See here, I am old. I do not know when I may die. So now please take your hunting gear, your quiver of arrows and your bow, and go out into the open country and hunt game for me. And make me a savory and delicious dish of meat, the kind I love, and bring it to me to eat, so that my soul may bless you as my firstborn son before I die." But Rebekah overheard what Isaac said to Esau his son, and when Esau had gone to the open country to hunt for game that he might bring back, Rebekah said to Jacob, her younger and favorite son, "Listen carefully. I heard your father saying to Esau your brother, 'Bring me some game and make a savory and delicious dish of meat, so that I may eat and declare my blessing on you in the presence of the Lord before my death.' So now, my son, listen carefully to me and do exactly as I command you. Go now to the flock and bring me 2 good and suitable young goats, and I will make them into a savory dish of meat for your father, the kind he loves to eat. Then you shall bring it to your father to eat, so that he may bless you before his death." Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, "Listen, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth-skinned man. Suppose my father touches me and feels my skin, then I will be seen by him as a cheat impostor, and I will bring his curse on me and not a blessing." But his mother said to him, "May your curse be on me, my son. Only listen and obey me, and go, bring the young goats to me." So Jacob went and got 2 young goats and brought them to his mother, and his mother prepared a delicious dish of food with a delightful aroma, the kind his father loved to eat. Then Rebekah took her elder son Esau's best clothes, which were with her in her house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the young goats on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. Then she gave her son Jacob a delicious meat and the bread which she had prepared. So he went to his father and said, "My father." And Isaac said, "Here I am. Who are you, my son?" Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done what you told me to do. Now please sit up and eat some of the game, so that you may bless me." Isaac said to his son, "How is it that you have found the game so quickly, my son?" And he said, "Because the Lord your God caused it to come to me." But Isaac wondered and said to Jacob, "Please come close to me, so that I may touch you, my son, and determine if you are really my son Esau or not." So Jacob approached Isaac, and his father touched him and said, "The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau." He could not recognize him as Jacob, because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands, so he blessed him. But he said, "Are you really my son Esau?" Jacob answered, "I am." Then Isaac said, Bring the food to me, and I will eat some of my son's game, so that I may bless you." He brought it to him, and he ate, and he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Please come, my son, and kiss me." So he came and kissed him, and Isaac smelled his clothing and blessed him and said, "The scent of my son Esau is like the aroma of a field, which the Lord has blessed. Now may God give you the dew of the heaven to water your land, and the fatness, fertility of the earth, and an abundance of grain and new wine. May people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be Lord and master over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and may those who bless you be blessed." The stolen blessing. Verse 30. Now as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had scarcely left the presence of Isaac his father, Esau his brother came in from his hunting. Esau also made a delicious dish of meat, and brought it to his father, and said to him, "Let my father get up and eat some of his son's game, so that you may bless me." Isaac his father said to him, "Who are you?" And he replied, "I am your son, your firstborn, Esau." Then Isaac trembled violently, and he said, "Then who was the one who was just here, who hunted game and brought it to me? I ate all of it before you came, and I blessed him. Yes, and he in fact shall remain blessed." When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with a great and extremely bitter cry, and said to his father, "Bless me even also, O my father." Isaac said, "Your brother came deceitfully and has fraudulently taken away your blessing for himself." Esau replied, "Is he not rightly named Jacob, the supplanter? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and now he has taken away my blessing. Have you not reserved a blessing for me?" But Isaac replied to Esau, "Listen carefully. I have made Jacob your lord and master. I have given him all his brothers and relatives as servants, and I have sustained him with grain and new wine. What then can I do for you, my son? Esau said to his father, Have you only one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, my father. Then Esau, no longer able to restrain himself, raised his voice and wept loudly. Then Isaac his father answered and prophesied and said to him, Your dwelling shall be away from the fertility of the earth and away from the dew of heaven above. But you shall live by your sword and serve your brother. However, it shall come to pass when you break loose from your anger and hatred that you will tear his yoke off your neck, and you will be free of him. So Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father blessed him, and Esau said in his heart, The days of the mourning for my father are very near, then I will kill my brother Jacob. When these words of her elder son Esau were repeated to Rebekah, she sent for Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, Listen carefully, your brother Esau is comforting himself concerning you by planning to kill you. So now, my son, listen and do what I say. Go, escape to my brother Laban in Haran. Stay with him for a while until your brother's anger subsides. When your brother's anger towards you subsides and he forgets what you did to him, then I will send and bring you back from there. Why should I be deprived of you both in a single day? Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I am tired of living because of the daughters of Heth, these insolent wives of Esau. If Jacob takes a wife from the daughters of Heth, like these daughters of the land, what good will my life be to me? Genesis 28. Jacob is sent away. So Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said to him, You shall not marry one of the women of Canaan. Arise, go to Paddan Aram, to the house of Bethuel your mother's father, and take from there as a wife for yourself one of the daughters of Laban your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and multiply you, so that you may become a great company of peoples. May he also give you a blessing. May he also give the blessing of Abraham to you and your descendants with you, that you may inherit the promised land of your sojourns, which he gave to Abraham. Then Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Paddan Aram to Laban, son of Bethuel the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. Now Esau noticed that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him to Paddan Aram to take a wife for himself from there, and that he blessed him and he gave him a prohibition, saying, You shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob obeyed his father and his mother and had gone to Paddan Aram. So Esau realized that his two wives, the daughters of Canaan, displeased Isaac his father. And to appease his parents, Esau went to the family of Ishmael and took as his wife, in addition to the wives he already had, Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth, Ishmael's firstborn son. Jacob's dream. Now Jacob left Beersheba, never to see his mother again, and traveled toward Haran. And he came to a certain place and stayed overnight there, because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of the place, he put it under his head and lay down there to sleep. He dreamed that there was a ladder stairway placed on the earth, and the top of it reached out of sight toward heaven, and he saw the angels of God ascending and descending on it, going to and from heaven. And behold, the Lord stood above and around him and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham your father's father, and the God of Isaac. I will give to you and to your descendants the land of promise, which you are lying. Your descendants shall be as countless as the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south, and all the families, nations of the earth shall be blessed through you and your descendants. Behold, I am with you, and will keep carefully watch over you and guard you wherever you may go, and I will bring you back to this promised land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, Without any doubt the Lord is in this place, and I did not realize it. So he was afraid and said, How fearful and awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gateway to heaven. So Jacob got up early in the morning and took the stone he had put under his head and set it up as a pillar that is a monument to the vision in his dream, and he poured olive oil on the top of it to consecrate it. He named that place Bethel, the house of God. The previous name of that city was Luz, almond tree. Then Jacob made a vow, promise, saying, If God will be with me and will keep me on this journey that I take, and will give me food to eat and clothing to wear, and if he grants that I return to my father's house in safety, then the Lord will be my God. The stone which I have set up as a pillar, monument, memorial will be God's house, a sacred place to me, and of everything that you give me I will give a tenth to you, as an offering to signify my gratitude and dependence on you. Genesis 29. Then Jacob went on his way and came to the land of the people of the east near Haran. As he looked, he saw a well in the field, and 3 flocks of sheep lying there resting beside it, because the flocks were watered from that well. Now the stone on the mouth of the well that covered and protected it was large, and when all the flocks were gathered there, the shepherds would roll the stone from the mouth of the well, water the sheep, and afterward replace the stone in the mouth of the well. Jacob said to them, "My brothers, where are you from?" And they said, "We are from Haran." So he said to them, "Do you know Laban, the grandson of Nahor, Abraham's brother?" And they replied, "We know him." So he asked them, "Is it well with him?" And they said, "He's doing well. Look, here comes his daughter Rachel with the sheep." Jacob said, "Look, the sun is still high overhead, and it is a long time before the flocks need to be gathered into their folds for the night. Water the sheep and go and return them to their pasture." But they said, "We cannot leave until all the flocks are gathered together, and the shepherds roll the stone from the mouth of the well. Then we will water the sheep." While he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. When Jacob saw his cousin Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and Laban's sheep, he came up and rolled the stone away from the mouth of the well and watered the flock of Laban, his uncle. Then Jacob kissed Rachel in greeting, and he raised his voice and wept. Jacob told Rachel he was her father's relative, Rebekah's son, and she ran and told her father. When Laban heard the arrival of Jacob, his sister's son, he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him into his house. Then he told Laban all of these things. Then Laban said to him, "You are my bone and my flesh," and Jacob stayed with him a month. Then Laban said to Jacob, "Just because you are my relative, should you work for me for nothing? Tell me, what should your wages be?" Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the older was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel was beautiful in form and appearance. Jacob loved Rachel, so he said, "I will serve you as a hired workman for 7 years, in return for the privilege of marrying Rachel, your younger daughter." Laban said, "It is better that I give her in marriage to you than give her to another man. Stay and work with me." So Jacob served Laban for 7 years for the right to marry Rachel, but they seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her. Laban's treachery. Finally, Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife, for my time of service is completed, so that I may take her to me as my wife." So Laban gathered together all of the men of the place and prepared a wedding feast with wine. But in the evening he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to Jacob, and Jacob went in to consummate the marriage with her. Laban also gave Zilpah, his maid, to his daughter Leah as a maid. But in the morning, when Jacob awoke, it was Leah who was with him. And he said to Laban, "What is this you have done to me? Did I not work for you for 7 years for Rachel? Why have you deceived and betrayed me like this?" But Laban only said, "Is it not tradition here to give the younger daughter in marriage, but before the older? Finish the week of the wedding feast for Leah, then we will give you Rachel also, and in return you shall work for me 7 more years." So Jacob complied and fulfills Leah's week of celebration. Then Laban gave him his daughter Rachel as a second wife. Laban also gave Bilhah, his maid, to his daughter Rachel as a maid. So Jacob consummated his marriage and lived with Rachel as his wife, and he loved Rachel more than Leah, and he served with Laban for another 7 years. Now when the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, he made her able to bear children, but Rachel was barren. Leah conceived and gave birth to a son and named him Reuben. "See, a son," for she said, "Because the Lord has seen my humiliation and suffering, now my husband will love me, since I have been given him a son." Then she conceived again and gave birth to a son and said, "Because the Lord heard that I am unloved, he has given me this son also." So she named him Simeon, God hears. She conceived again and gave birth to a son and said, "Now this time my husband will become attached to me as a companion, for I have given him 3 sons. Therefore he was named Levi. Again she conceived and gave birth to a 4th son, and she said, "Now I will praise the Lord." So she named him Judah. Then for a time she stopped bearing children. Psalm 8. The Lord's glory and man's dignity. To the chief musician, set to a Philistine lute or perhaps a particular Hittite tune, a psalm of David. O Lord our God, how majestic and glorious and excellent is your name in all the earth. You have displayed your splendor above the heavens. Out of the mouths of infants and nursing babes you have established strength because of your adversaries, that you might silence the enemy and make the revengeful cease. When I see and consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have established, what is man that you are mindful of him, and the son of earthborn man that you care for him? Yet you have made him a little lower than God, and you have crowned him with glory and honor. You made him to have dominion over the works of your hands. You have put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen, and also the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, and the fish of the sea, whatever passes through the paths of the seas. O Lord our God, how majestic and glorious and excellent is your name in all the earth.